Cin Drallig was a legendary Jedi Master, the Battle Master of the Jedi Order, and the head of security at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Born on the planet Lavasar, Cin Drallig would be taken as a young child to be trained as a Jedi. Drallig became a promising Jedi Padawan and was trained in lightsaber combat by none other than Grandmaster Yoda. Cin Drallig quickly became a Jedi Knight and then a Jedi Master, starting his career as a lightsaber instructor, passing his great knowledge of lightsaber combat to the next generation of Jedi. He was then promoted to Battle Master of the Jedi Order and the head of security at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. When Order 66 was executed in 19 BBY, the temple was soon overrun with clone troopers and the fallen Jedi, Darth Vader. Cin Drallig was escorting his students to safety when Vader entered. While Master Drallig held his own for almost 2 minutes, the enraged Sith Lord was overwhelming, killing the Battle Master. Oppo Rancisis was the former Padawan of Master Yaddle and Grandmaster Yoda. He was an expert strategist, tactician, force wielder, and lightsaber duelist. Born 206 years before the Battle of Yavin, Oppo Rancisis was the son of a blood monarch who ruled over Thespius. He was taken to the Jedi Temple in 200 BBY and was eventually taken as the Padawan of Yaddle. When he was 20 years old, his sister was killed by terrorists, and Oppo was the next in the line of heirs. He was offered the throne, but he refused it because he was dedicated to the Jedi Order. He became a powerful Jedi Knight and a Jedi Master, learning rare force abilities like battle meditation and battle mind. And Oppo even taught Malaysia for decades and recorded his notes on the Great Holocron in the Jedi Archives. Around 100 years before the Battle of Yavin, Rancisis was elected to the Jedi High Council and the Council of Reconciliation. He used battle meditation to sway many battles in the Republic's favor, including the Stark Hyperspace War, the Inchuri Uprising, and even used the ability to help the entire Clone Wars. In 19 BBY, Rancisis took part in the Siege of Slukamai. 5 months into the battle, Anzadi assassins were sent to kill Master Rancisis, but he managed to kill them. However, they were just a distraction. The fallen Jedi Sora Bulk cloaked his Force signature and snuck up behind the ancient Jedi Master, killing him instantly.
To walk the path of the Jedi, one's spirit must be strong. That requires discipline.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is ForklifterMatt, and I'm proud to present Cin Drallig vs Oppo Rancisis. I've been working very hard on this video, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and without further ado, Cin Drallig vs Oppo Rancisis. Cin Drallig was a master duelist who had a knowledge of all 7 forms of traditional lightsaber combat, and who has held his own against pre-suit Darth Vader for a good duration. While he had an extensive knowledge of all 7 forms, I believe that he primarily utilized Form 2 Makashi and Form 5 Jem So. Form 2 Makashi, or the Contention form, was the most elegant and dueling-centric form of lightsaber combat. It focused on graceful footwork, tight blade work, and deflecting and redirecting lightsaber blades. It also focused on balance, conservative movements, economy of motion, precise and fluid blade work, and outmaneuvering adversaries. Form 5 Gem So, or the Perseverance form, was a strength-oriented form that utilized a strong central defense backed up by powerful counterattacks. Form 5 purpose was to use an adversary's own attack against them, due to the emphasis of immediate counterattacks. The form was created by masters of Form 3 Surisu who wanted a more offensive form that still retained the defensive capabilities of Surisu. They felt that Form 3 only prolonged the inevitable, and was too passive. With the Gem So, users can push an offensive and still have a tight, strong defense. I believe Cin Drallig took multiple techniques from both forms. I believe he used tight, precise blade work, graceful footwork, conservative movements, and redirected and deflected lightsaber strikes from Form 2 Makashi. I believe he also used strong counterattacks and utilized a strong, tight defense from Form 5 Gem So, perfectly mixing and applying techniques from both forms with grace and refinement. Though he was susceptible to powerful force-based attacks, specifically against Darth Vader. Cin was able to hold his own against Vader for nearly 2 minutes, but was overwhelmed and killed by Vader's superior force abilities. He was able to hold a defense while pushing his offense, but it wasn't enough to stop the enraged Vader. Drallig was even considered by Count Dooku one of the greatest duelists in galactic history to be a good duelist. And Dooku even told General Grievous that if he ever fought the Battlemaster, he would surely be defeated. He was even described as being unparalleled in martial arts. Cin Drallig was able to perfectly combine elements of Makashi and Gem So to create a dynamic and varied fighting style, which was very effective in combat. Master Drallig certainly lived up to his reputation set by his peers, and was definitely worthy of the title of Battlemaster. Oppo Rancisis was a highly skilled and refined lightsaber duelist. Proficient in Form 4 Ataru and Form 6 Niman, Oppo was regarded by the Jedi Council as a powerful fighter, and Sora Bulk even considered Master Rancisis to be a dangerous threat and a capable duelist. Form 4 Ataru, or the Aggression Way, was an aggressive form of combat based around acrobatics, force augmentation, flamboyant blade work, and using the whole body as a weapon. It was fast-paced, and users were able to strike from multiple directions. Form 6 Niman, or the Diplomat's form, was a relaxed and generalized lightsaber form. It focused on moderation, relaxed blade work, and using force-based attacks in combat. It's very effective in the hands of contemporary and unorthodox practitioners of the form, such as Exar Kun, Darth Maul, and Starkiller, who relied more on aggression and complex techniques rather than moderation. And I believe Rancisis falls into that category, using aggression and complexity rather than the traditional applications of the form. Mixing both Ataru and Niman made for an adaptable, versatile, and dynamic form. He used his entire body and his unique physiology as a weapon. He also used force-based acrobatics and powerful force abilities in combat. It was effective in multiple situations and gained him a sizable reputation. It should also be noted that Rancisis was an expert strategist and tactician, which would most definitely carry over to his martial arts skills. Rancisis has few feats and accolades to his name, but that doesn't detract from his power and knowledge. He was able to kill a group of Nzadi assassins. Nzadi assassins were known Jedi butchers and were even described as being untouchable killers. He was also considered by Sora Bulk and the Jedi Council to be a fierce warrior and a master-level duelist. That's specifically why Bulk used Force Stealth to go undetected and kill Rancisis from the shadows, rather than dueling him head-on. Cin Drallig and Oppo Rancisis were both highly advanced lightsaber duelists and were on the same level of skill. Both were said to be fierce warriors and excellent duelists, and both carried a considerable reputation amongst their peers. What really decides this outcome is how their forms are best utilized in combat, backed up by their feats. They both have mastered dynamic and varied martial arts disciplines, but Drallig was able to hold his own against pre-suit Vader for almost 2 minutes, and that's simply above the feats that Rancisis brings to the table. While he has defeated Anzadi assassins with relative ease while exhausted, and was considered a master duelist by Sora Bulk, it's just not enough to defeat Drallig. In every other instance I would call them equals, but Drallig has shown us his mastery of the blade with better feats than Oppo Rancisis. And that's why Cin Drallig gets the edge in martial arts. Cin Drallig mainly focused on refining his dueling abilities, but he was still a powerful force wielder. He worked extremely well within his own limitations, and he stuck with what he knew and used it effectively in combat. Drallig was very skilled in telekinesis, force-based augmentation, and force protection. He was able to telekinetically throw Vader from the Jedi Temple for a far distance, was able to withstand a powerful force push from Vader, not moving an inch, and he has used force augmentation in a variety of ways, bolstering his martial arts skills. What he lacks in variety and knowledge, Cin makes up for in power, control, and working well within his own limitations. Oppo Rancisis was an expert force wielder who has mastered a variety of different abilities. He was a master of telekinesis, Malaysia, battle mind, battle meditation, and force augmentation. Not only that, but he's also been able to skillfully integrate these powerful force abilities into his fighting style, hence his preference for Form 6 Niman. Oppo has utilized telekinesis in combat, using it with all 4 of his arms against a group of Anzadi assassins, manipulating people and the environment around him. Battle meditation allows the user to strengthen allies and demoralize and weaken enemies. Rancisis was able to use this ability to great effect for nearly 5 months straight during the siege of Seleucami. Sadly, the ability is not combatively viable, but that's where Battle Mind comes in. Battle Mind is very similar to Battle Meditation, where it has the power to strengthen allies and even themselves. The difference is, Battle Mind can be used in duels. Malaysia was a unique ability that was capable of inducing nausea and dizziness. It did no damage to the victim, but incapacitated them for a short duration, though its effectiveness against other force sensitives is unknown, especially ones of Drallig's caliber. Oppo Rancisis was a fantastic force user. He had the variety, knowledge, and tactics to make him a truly powerful force wielder. Both use telekinesis quite often, but if Cin's fight with Vader is any indication, he would be able to hold his ground against any force push Rancisis threw at him, and he'd be able to throw one back at Oppo twice as hard. So I would say that the Battle Master is a greater user of telekinesis. However, Oppo Rancisis has a greater knowledge and a greater variety of abilities than him. They are both skilled in force augmentation, and battle meditation and Malaysia wouldn't play a role in this duel. Neither of them bring anything to the table that would overwhelm or have a huge advantage over the other. For that, I declare Cin Drallig and Oppo Rancisis equals in force powers. Cin Drallig was 51 years old and was years past his physical prime, though he made up for that disadvantage by using force augmentation. He was strong enough to withstand Vader's assault, was fast enough to contend with Vader's reflexes and agility, and was the battle master of the Order, which means he would have to physically exert himself on a daily basis. While not the greatest in physical abilities, Drallig was still able to keep up with Vader, and he even mastered force augmentation. Oppo Rancisis was nearly 2 centuries old, and, like the Battlemaster, was years past his somatic prime, but used force augmentation to make up for that. The Thespian were a race of serpent-like beings with 4 arms and a long tail, which granted greater leverage, dexterity, and maneuverability than the average human. He was also able to use all 4 of his arms in combat, and even his tail, which was very powerful. Both Cin Drallig and Oppo Rancisis were years past their physical prime, but they used force augmentation to make up for their lack of physicalities. Drallig and Rancisis are equals in almost every possible way, but the one thing that puts Oppo ahead in this category is his unique physiology. With 4 arms and a tail, Rancisis has greater dexterity, leverage, and maneuverability than the average male. So that's why I give Oppo Rancisis the edge in physical abilities. Cin Drallig wielded a standard single-bladed lightsaber very similar in design to Kit Fisto's blade. It featured an ergonomic hand grip that could accommodate a 2-handed grip and was light enough to also accommodate a 1-handed grip. The lightsaber held a green Adegan crystal as the focusing lens. Oppo Rancisis wielded a standard single-bladed lightsaber with a long, slender hand grip to fit his long, thin fingers. It featured a green Adegan crystal as the focusing lens. Neither of their lightsabers offered any real benefit to combat. They both wielded standard single-bladed lightsabers of their era. I declare Cin Drallig and Oppo Rancisis equals in weaponry and equipment. This matchup is very close. Cin Drallig got the edge in martial arts, Oppo Rancisis got the edge in physical abilities, and no edge was given in force powers and weaponry and equipment. And I believe this is how one majority match could possibly play out. Cin Drallig and Oppo Rancisis would ignite their lightsabers, fighting head-on. Cin would rely on the grace of Makashi and the strength of the Gem So, while Rancisis would rely on his physiology, his force abilities, and the flamboyant blade work of Ataru. Drallig would take the early lead with his superior dueling abilities. Realizing this, Rancisis would switch immediately to his force abilities. He would send a powerful telekinetic push towards the Battlemaster, but he would be able to withstand it and send one back just as powerful, off-balancing the ancient Jedi Master. Cin would seize the advantage and go in for the kill, but Oppo would be able to recover with his superior dexterity and agility. He would strike Drallig with his tail, sending Cin flying backwards. The two would re-engage in a lightsaber duel. Drallig would be able to penetrate Oppo's guard and cut him down. Battered and bruised, but victorious. I declare Cin Drallig the Battlemaster, the unparalleled duelist, the victor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you all so much for waiting this long for a new video. And may the Force be with you, always.